I think Liraglutide is very quickly becoming your thing. Like that's going to be a thing associated specifically with Vigorous Steve.
Yeah, Vigorous Steve found a way so you don't have to suffer while dieting. We're going to talk about coaches, and you're going to call me out live.
Yeah, I'm going to call you out, ditch you, sack you live.
Yeah.
And then brutal as possible.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, so I figured we'd open up with what I consider to be freaking awesome news.
Mm-hmm.
Is your latest and first episode on the Think Big Bodybuilding Media channel.
Oh yeah.
With Scott McNally.
That was a big deal.
Which I thought was that's a big step for any like bodybuilding fans out there who have been, watching as like really into the YouTube realm of bodybuilding back when it all started, when the YouTube stuff started. They were probably one of the first major channels, right? And now they've got
one of the bigger, like there were a few bodybuilding radio shows, and most of them got discontinued. But Scott is still the one who operates multiple radio shows on his channel. Right? He's got one with Dave Crossland and one with the two FB pros, Dusty Henshaw, and
Dusty and Ron.
Ron Portload, right?
What's the big? I can't remember his bloody name now. Is his name Scott as well? Dave, the big British guy, the drugs talk one.
That's Dave Crossland. Yeah,
Dave. Yeah,
Dave Crossland, right?
And there's loads. And then they do you got the John Meadows one on there as well. I mean, it's just like a gold mine for knowledge and entertainment and all things bodybuilding.
I've been watching.
So if you haven't been on the
I haven't been watching it since 2016.
Yeah, I mean, I started watching it only a few years ago when I first really started getting into the bodybuilding and just diving into it as much as I could. And one of the first channels I came across. And and then when I flicked on there the other day, I was in the car scrolling through my, to watch videos. I was like, hang on a minute.
Steve.
Vigorous Steve. Pen talk.
I didn't tell him.
And I'm like,
did I tell you or no?
No, you didn't tell me. Son of a bitch.
I got more podcasts lined up.
I thought we told each other everything.
I got more lined up, but I got to surprise you guys sometimes,
Yeah, it was really, really good. A really, really solid podcast. And I'm very, very happy for you that you got yourself over on that channel. And I wouldn't be surprised if they have you back on there multiple times. Because I had a good old scroll through the comment section in the after I watched the episode, and it's all good, buddy. All good.
Yeah, people were pretty happy. So it's so maybe in the future when Scott has some space in between all the other guys, I might pop back in and give the guys an update. Awesome. Maybe a little different perspective on but still bodybuilding related, obviously. All right. So that was a good podcast. Yeah, we did it a while back, and now it's live. So for anybody who hasn't watched it, head over to Think Big. We'll list it down below.
Stick it in the links,
and then you guys can watch it. I'm still waiting for a clip from Scott, so I can post a clip on my YouTube channel, so I can send some people over, and then give that a watch. It's about an hour long, short and sweet.
It's very, very good. It's a very, very good, easy to watch, lots to learn, informative podcast. And I think you're now getting a little bit of fame and a bit of credit for the whole Liraglutide thing as well now.
I think so. Yeah, I think
that's your thing now. Like some people have got their thing. I think Liraglutide is very quickly becoming your thing. Like that's going to be a thing associated specifically with Vigorous Steve.
Yeah, Vigorous Steve found a way so you don't have to suffer while dieting.
Sounds too good to be true, but I've tried it. I've done the Vigorous Liraglutide protocols, and I'll tell you that Jesus Christ, it is strong. It is the strongest, most quickly effective thing I have ever tried.
Yeah. Wait until you try semaglutide. That's way more potent. It's way more potent. Yeah. You don't even think about eating, and then suddenly it's Wednesday, you know? But you pin it on Monday morning and like, oh, I haven't eaten for 3 days.
I think, to be honest, having that day-to-day control over it is quite beneficial, and it's so easy. It's such an easy thing to do and to take. And I was doing 0.6 milligrams,
right? Mm-hmm.
And that was enough during a fast.
Yeah,
for the first 2 days of fasting, I used 0.6 milligrams, and that was enough to get me through those days without any issues really at all. I wasn't even really thinking about food, or I certainly wasn't dealing with like many real hunger issues where I would on a fast. Usually on a fast, I hate fasting. We do it because it works.
Yeah,
but I don't enjoy it. I don't,
you got to get those
smile
glutes
when I talk about it like you do.
We got to get those glutes in,
Yeah,
Well,
it's working
sometimes,
bit by bit.
Sometimes it's required, and to speed up the fat loss a little bit. Like many coaches do it. They have like a refeed on Sunday or Saturday, and then the day after you do a fast for 24 hours, 36 hours. Sometimes you got to push a little bit further, when you still got some stubborn baby fat. You just got to, and then there's limited time. Like you've got, we're 4 weeks out now, basically. And then we call it quits.
It's pretty incredible. So
it's funny. Like I felt that bodybuilding, like the pharmacology was like kind of like stagnating for the last 5 years. And now within the last 2 or 3 years, with the combined effort of the community, there's so much new stuff, which sounds like exciting as a druggie. You're like, ooh, all these new drugs to try, but there's so many benefits, when it comes to performance enhancing or bodybuilding or just overall quality of life. And like us bodybuilders, like I had this discussion with Scott McNally, like most bodybuilders would like to suffer, right? Because then they feel hardcore. It's blue collar. You're suffering. I'm suffering harder than the next guy. But then as a result of that, you maybe get a little bit moody and you're less productive and you don't feel comfortable driving and all these little things that we discussed privately. Like, dude, I can't drive like this to the work because I'm like dead tired, 2,000 calories for a couple of days in a row, and you're like, oh, can't go. And then you have a little bit,
it gets dodgy.
Right, it gets very dodgy. So, and then you have a little bit of Liraglutide, and it takes the edge off of this hardcore feeling, that you can now focus on work or maybe be a better husband because you're in a better mood. I mean, how many relationships gets destroyed during prep? I mean, I was horrible on a diet, so that's why I'm dieting slowly. Without the Tremboloni sandwich. So all these
but that's it. I mean, now we're discovering some of these new tools and things that can really help with, just some of those small side effects that do make a huge difference in just your overall mental performance during a prep. It's all well and good. Like if you want to suffer, great, suffer. You really want to put yourself through the trenches, go for it. You'll come out a better person at the end of it, and you'll learn some stuff about yourself, and you physically and get the benefits from that. But at the same time, if it, like you said, if it starts affecting business, if it starts affecting your income, your relationships, then use the tools that you've got in your box,
right?
To to get through those things. You can still suffer without destroying your business or relationship.
Right. I always see these things like they don't directly contribute to your bodybuilding, but it's more like an overlapping benefit that has a very high return of investment, because people say, oh, Liraglutide is so expensive, or cerebral lysin gets expensive too, right? But if it allows you to make more money or be more productive and don't have to plan a 2-week vacation at Disneyland with your wife just to make amends after the competition, right? It's just you spend a little bit more on the time, so you're able to be more productive.
I mean, just do the math.
Later. Yeah, it's very simple.
You'll probably spend more on flowers and chocolate in a year than you will on cerebral lysin.
For sure. Right. So it's a no-brainer for me. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Did you watch the episode with Leo where he gave you a shout out and then Bostin immediately threw you in the gutter?
Yeah.
His legs are shit.
I spoke to Blue as well.
Okay,
I spoke to Leo and Blue. And they were both like, we had a good laugh about it. I was like, well, Boston hates everyone, and he will judge someone on the first thing he sees in the first 3 seconds without seeing anything else whatsoever. And he's just like, trash. So yeah, he ripped me another asshole big time. But Blue and Leo went a little bit easier on me, and I spoke to Blue and Leo later on that day. Actually, I spoke to Leo just to say thanks for the shout out. It was nice of him. He didn't have to do that. You know, and they both gave me some very encouraging words. And,
well, what you should do is
reminded me that there is potential there.
Throw up your arm and then tag Boston, and then ask him how many cc's of you know,
how much of your synthol should I use to make these good?
Right, exactly. Yeah, you can always. It's like playing back and forth. You know,
he can take a good old bit of banter as well. Maybe I'll drop him a couple of funny messages. When I'm a little bit bigger or better, bit more well known, maybe. Or after the next off season when I've got monster legs, and I can just be like, yeah, fuck you, Boston. This is all for you.
Right. I thought about you every leg workout. That comment. Put it to practice.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people forget that you've been bodybuilding for 2 years, so it's progression.
Exactly. I don't take it. I'll be the first person to tell you what my weaknesses are. Believe me. And you know, sometimes I'm super hard on myself as well. But you know, you got to take a step back and sum it all up. That we just it's only 2 years. We're just getting started, and it's already moving in the right direction.
Right.
And on that note, do you want to tell people, your fans, clients, anyone that is potentially thinking about hiring you as a coach, what your plans are moving